When people talk about iconic Black women characters from the 90s, conversations often center around the strong friend, the career woman, or the no-nonsense matriarch. But there was another archetype that deserves recognition: the whimsical Black woman. These were women who were dreamy, eccentric, imaginative, and sometimes delightfully unconventional. Three of the best examples: Sinclair James from Living Single, Denise Huxtable from The Cosby Show, and Freddie Brooks from A Different World. On the surface, Sinclair was often treated as the airhead of the friend group. She was bubbly, she was optimistic, she could be absent-minded at times, and many viewers and sometimes even the characters around her mistook her sweetness for a lack of intelligence. But if you pay attention, Sinclair wasn't dumb at all. What made Sinclair different was that she processed the world emotionally rather than cynically. In a cast full of sharp-tongued realists, she approached life with curiosity, kindness, and wonder. Instead of delivering biting sarcasm, she asked sincere questions. Instead of assuming the worst in people, she often believed the best. The joke was frequently that Sinclair was operating on a different wavelength. But that wavelength wasn't stupidity, it was imagination. She had emotional intelligence that many of the other characters lacked. She was often a peacemaker, the person who could see the humanity in others, and the one willing to remain open-hearted in situations where everyone else had become hardened. And that's important because television has historically struggled to portray Black women as soft, whimsical, or delightfully odd. Sinclair challenged that. She proved a Black woman could be feminine, dreamy, and unconventional without being reduced to a caricature. Before the rise of today's quirky Black girl archetype, there was Denise Huxtable. Denise was effortlessly cool, but she was also wonderfully strange. She mixed patterns that shouldn't have worked together. She followed creative impulses instead of predictable paths. She was consistently experimenting with fashion, with identity, with life itself. While other sitcom daughters were often defined by achievements or rebellion, Denise was defined by exploration. She wasn't interested in being perfect. She wasn't trying to be the smartest person in the room. She wasn't concerned with fitting neatly into expectations. And because of that, some viewers interpreted her as irresponsible or directionless. But Denise represented something powerful: the freedom to be a work in progress. She embodied the idea that a Black woman didn't have to have every answer. She could be artistic, curious, unconventional, and still be worthy of respect. In many ways, Denise's eccentricity was a form of self-expression. She gave audiences a vision of Black womanhood that wasn't centered on perfection, respectability, or proving oneself. She simply existed as herself. If Denise Huxtable opened the door for eccentric Black girls on television, Freddie Brooks kicked it wide open. From the moment she appeared on A Different World, Freddie stood out. Her curls, eclectic clothing, activism, and free-spirited personality made her impossible to ignore. In many ways, Freddie was the resident dreamer of the series. She cared deeply about social justice, environmental issues, and making the world a better place. She wasn't afraid to challenge authority, question traditions, or embrace ideas that others considered unconventional. Because of her quirky personality, Freddie was sometimes portrayed as scatterbrained or overly idealistic. Her roommates and friends occasionally rolled their eyes at her latest calls or unconventional perspective. But underneath her whimsical exterior was a woman who was deeply thoughtful and remarkably principled. Freddie wasn't eccentric for the sake of being different. Her individuality was rooted in conviction. She genuinely believed that people should care more, love more, and think beyond themselves. What made Freddie so refreshing was that she rejected the idea that Black women had to be polished and composed at all times. She was messy, she was passionate, she was emotional, she was figuring things out in real time. And that authenticity made her relatable. Unlike many television characters who were rewarded for fitting in, Freddie found her power in standing apart. She embraced her uniqueness even when it made her the odd one out. What's fascinating about Sinclair, Denise, and Freddie is that each embodied whimsy in a different way. Sinclair was whimsical through her optimism and gentle spirit. Denise was whimsical through her creativity, self-expression, and a refusal to follow a traditional path. Freddie was whimsical through idealism, activism, and an unapologetic commitment to being herself. Together, they expanded the image of what Black women could be on television. They showed audiences that Black womanhood wasn't a single personality type. It could be dreamy, artistic, eccentric, rebellious, curious, and wonderfully unconventional. And that's what makes these characters so memorable decades later. They weren't trying to fit a mold. They were creating new ones. Who are some of your favorite whimsical Black characters from the 90s? Let me know who I missed. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Bye.